Well, I don't know what happened. I didn't even touch my camera and it went off. So I'm just going to finish up. Can somebody let me know if if I appear, because it looks like I'm live here. I'm waiting for a comment to show that somebody is out there. In the meantime, let me tell you about my childhood. Anybody there? Anybody seeing this? Just hit a like or a comment or a love or something. Let me know if you are on. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, Hugh is there, so I guess we're seeing this. I'm going to finish with Crowley's little description of how the Rites of Eleusis started. And he wrote this for a magazine called The Bystander on November 23rd, 1910. Among the various accounts that have appeared of the character of the Rites of Eleusis, so-called, that's Crowley's own Rites of Eleusis, I find that very few people seem to understand intellectually what they were all about. It will be well, therefore, if I make here a plain statement as to the exact nature of the rites. The ceremonies developed from very rude beginnings. The first one was in this wise. I happened to have a few friends in my room in the evening, among them the celebrated Australian violinist, Miss Leila Waddell. It struck me we might pass the time by a short artistic dialogue. I read a piece of poetry from one of the great classics, and she replied with a piece of music suggested by my reading. I retorted with another poem, and the evening developed into a regular controversy. The others were intensely interested in this strange conflict, the others at the party, I guess. And in the silence of the room, spiritual enthusiasm took hold of us. In other words, people were grooving out. They grooved out on the poem and went, oh, yeah. In the silence that followed it. And then Leila Waddell whipped out her violin and just blew them away with a virtuosic performance. And then the room fell silent, and they went, oh, God. Then Crowley replied with another poem, and they went even deeper. Oh, God. Okay. So spiritual enthusiasm took hold of us so acutely that we were all intensely uplifted to the point, in some cases, of actual ecstasy, an intoxication of the same kind as that experienced by an assistant in the celebration of the Mass or the performance of Parsifal, but stronger because of its naturalness and its primitiveness. It was subsequently decided to try and tune everybody up to some definite prearranged emotion. And we strung together a rough ceremony in honor of Artemis. This was so successful that it even impressed persons who had always been completely skeptics and scoffers. Having been of help in private, we endeavored to reproduce the effects in public with greater elaboration. Now, with regard to the rites, with regard to the genesis of the Rites of Eleusis, I must explain that they did not spring fully armed from my brain, Minerva-like. The actual form which my ideas took was simply a question of convenience and compromise. It was necessary to have a series of some sort, and 7 seemed to be about the right number. Now, I think, because this is a magazine article, okay, he's making it sound like, oh, I just picked 7 out of the air. It sounded like a nice even number, but he goes on to explain in a very casual way so as not to freak everybody out with, oh, Kabbalistically coming down the tree of life, but there's one other little thing, and then I'll let us go. Let's see. Okay. Ambitiously, Crowley chose for his format the 7 planets of the ancients, and he arranged the 7 ceremonies according to how the planetary spheres, Sephiroth,